Angela Reiner is very good at not answering simple questions, which is common to all of the Labour Party. In today's video, we'll see footage of a shocked Angela Reiner making a fool of herself, because she can't name a single company that supports Labour's employment bill. It's painful to watch. In today's video, we'll see her react to all the latest news from up and down the country. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Go grab them now, they're available on britishstand.com, or check the link in the description. But first, Reform UK MP Lee Anderson has slammed the police after a man who threatened his life was spared from prison. The Ashfield MP said in an interview that the case was a perfect example of two-tier policing. He said, "This was a case that our parliamentary team here in Westminster took up, and I wasn't made aware of the threat by the police until a month later. This man could be hiding in London. He has made a vile threat against an MP, and it actually took the police a month to inform me. We are on red alert, some of us MPs. We are always looking over our shoulders, worried about going to work, and especially in the city, with things closing down. I don't think it's good enough. I don't think they are taking the security of some MPs seriously from certain political persuasions. It's absolute nonsense. It's weak. It's spineless. It's pathetic. It's two-tier policing." The threat, which was posted to X, said that Lee's time was up, and that he would track him down and kill him. After making a direct death threat, he was arrested but not charged. Police wrote to the Reform MP explaining the decision, saying they had no previous convictions for the person who made the threat. Now to Angela Reiner when she appeared in a BBC interview and was unable to answer basic questions. There is a clock. Well, we have worked with a lot of companies. I have worked with a lot of them on this. I have held a lot of round tables, as has the business secretary, and they have been very welcoming of the work that we are doing to ensure that people, you should be able to name a few, because I can name them all. Companies, recruitment companies, Hayes, Workforce, Randstad. He signed the letter saying that this is the wrong way to go, you're going to put jobs at risk. Which companies have welcomed your employment rights? Well, as I say, I've spoken to a lot of companies. We've had a lot of round tables with them and we've been discussing it, and they've acknowledged that there needs to be a balance and have broadly welcomed it. We've made changes to the opposite, for example, in the probation period when we listen to what businesses have to say. So we've had a probation period as well as a balance of rights from day one. Can you give me a list of those companies? And then we can call them up and say, do you welcome Angela Reiner's proposals? Well, there are a lot of companies that we've worked with, as I say, a lot of them. What are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments. In other news, a British man has been arrested in Thailand on suspicion of raping a 6-year-old girl following an investigation by UK authorities. A 30-year-old man from Leeds, West Yorkshire, was detained at his home in the coastal resort of Pattaya on Tuesday morning. The arrest came after the National Crime Agency, NCA, in London identified Lawrence through video evidence of alleged child abuse. Police raided the suspect's rented home in the private Paradise Pattaya condominium block where he was staying with his Thai girlfriend. The NCA launched its investigation after tracing alleged child abuse material on Lawrence's phone, including footage allegedly showing him assaulting a young girl from Southeast Asia. British investigators worked with Bangkok's anti-trafficking division to track down the suspect. Thai authorities analyzed video evidence and compared it to social media posts as well as locations in Pattaya to track Lawrence down. Police believe Lawrence had a relationship with the victim's mother, and the alleged assault took place when the girl was 6 years old. The investigation culminated in an arrest warrant for the rape of a minor under the age of 13. During the arrest, footage showed Lawrence leaving his bedroom shirtless, followed by his partner wearing a silk nightie. An interpreter at the scene read out the charges and ordered the man to kneel and confirm his identity. The interpreter explained the severity of the charges, saying, "The unlawful conduct you have committed, according to which you are charged with rape by force, threat, statutory rape, against another person." The charges specifically stated that the crime was against a minor under the age of 13, who is not your wife, not your legal wife. The translator further emphasized that regardless of consent, the charges were brought because of the victim's age and inability to resist. The man was then formally arrested and taken to a waiting police van. Investigating officers later informed the victim's mother of the arrest and presented evidence, which led to further complaints being filed. The suspect denied all charges and refused to testify during the arrest, said Police Lieutenant Colonel Kiat Kong Thongkam. he was taken into custody at the police station. Thailand's Central Bureau of Investigation, the CIB, has issued a stern warning. It is a warning to Thai women who seek foreign partners through various online channels to be aware of the dangers of pedophilia. It described pedophilia as a mental disorder that causes sufferers to develop a sexual interest in children who have not yet reached puberty. The Bureau stressed the importance of being aware of the dangers posed by such behavior and protecting themselves from them. The man is being held as the investigation continues. Finally, since Labour came to power, attendance at government offices has fallen, with 13 departments reporting fewer staff on site. Official figures show a decline in office attendance since Sir Keir Starmer was elected, particularly in key departments such as the Treasury, Housing and Justice. This comes as the private sector is moving in the opposite direction, with large companies now requiring 50% more staff in the office than last year. The Department of Justice has seen the biggest drop, with attendance falling from 80% in July to 57% in September. Treasury desk occupancy fell from 69.5% to 64%, while housing saw a drop from 74% to 70%. Meanwhile, the Department for Work and Pensions saw attendance fall from 67% under the previous government to just 58% under Labour. In contrast, private companies are pushing for higher office attendance, with the top 50 businesses now requiring employees to work an average of 3 days a week in the office. Barclays and Boots, for example, have seen positive results from mandating full office returns. Critics including Shadow Cabinet Minister Alex Burghardt and Reform Minister Richard Tice have condemned the trend as a failure to lead by example. Tice warned that falling attendance and rising public spending were a nightmare for Whitehall. However, a government spokesman defended the figures, pointing out that office occupancy rates were 69% in the July-September period, up from 57% in the same period last year. While some departments failed to meet the 60% minimum target, most remain above that threshold. After a post-election peak of 75%, attendance has stabilized at around 72%, indicating that many civil servants have returned to remote work after the initial burst of office activity. What are your thoughts on what we covered in today's video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more British political content.